Hello, wonderful. I knew that this was a theater, so I was scared that there will be only 4 cats and some mice. So thank you for coming, and thank you for coming to listen to someone speaking in English about things that nobody understands. So I will be speaking about Document Liberation Project. It's a project that is quite young, and is a project that aims to make a digital preservation of data. So, but in very concrete way. Yeah, I think I chose the wrong one. Oh no, it's okay. First, I speak something about me, who I am. My name is Friedrich Strba. I'm coming from Switzerland. Okay, I was born in Slovakia, and when I was 22 or 24, I don't even remember, I emigrated to Switzerland. Like everybody wants to emigrate to Switzerland, so I managed. So now I'm coming from Switzerland, and I have very diverse background. I studied computer science in Slovakia until the master's degree, and then when I came to Switzerland, I was studying international relations and international law. So I'm a bit funny person, so you will see some artistic thing in the presentation, and some very technical thing in the presentation. So if you are an artistic person, you know that half of the presentation you will not understand, and if you are a technical person, you can be sure that half of the presentation you will not understand because it will be artistic. So I work for SUSE Linux Enterprise as software developer, and I used to work for SUSE for LibreOffice, and now I'm working on OpenJDK Java, but I am still in my heart contributing to LibreOffice during the evenings and weekends. So what is the Document Liberation Project? I have to be sure that I don't speak too fast. Okay, that's good. The project was officially launched on 2nd of April. We had it ready already for 1st of April, but we didn't want them to take us as a joke. So we launched it on 2nd of April on 11 UTC. It doesn't make any difference whether it was 11 or 12, but I like to be precise because I'm coming from Switzerland, and we produce the watches that you can all buy. So done the commercial, okay. So, and the first talk, it was actually a coincidence because the first talk was given by the founding members 4 hours later. If you Google, if you go to YouTube and Google for Document Liberation, you will see actually our talk. It was a 20-minute talk when we introduced the project. It was in Leipzig in Germany during the LibreGraphics meeting. And how this project came to be. From the very creation in 2010 of LibreOffice, there was a group of us that we like to really work on file format support. And we basically gave ourselves as a task to call LibreOffice the Swiss Army knife of file formats. I come from Switzerland. I know what Swiss Army knife is. I don't know whether you know. It's a knife that has many tools. It's a knife that when you put it in the pocket, the pockets be really solid, because if not, it will fall through. And it means that it can do everything. It can eat. You can eat with it. You can repair your car with it. You can construct computers with it. So, and our vision for LibreOffice was to do something similar, to make the LibreOffice an application that when you have a file and you don't know what it is, you just open it with LibreOffice and you will understand what it is. We are not yet there, but we are on the way. We are not where we used to be. We are not where we want to be, but we are happy on the way. So in 2011, we wrote a first filter for closed, undocumented file format. It was in the framework of the Google Summer of Code of 2011, and it was a Visio importer. There was one of the founding members of the Document Liberation Project. He is a Russian guy that emigrated to Canada, because we all emigrate somewhere. He is very good at reading those hexadecimal codes and try to see patterns in it, and he managed to understand the compression of Visio files. So we we started to support the Visio files. And during the year 2012, I had nothing to do. Okay, I had things to do, but I was having some troubles, so I started to write CorelDRAW import library. And we actually managed to bring this project to an end where we are supporting all Visio file formats since Visio was created with Visio 1 in the time when maybe some of you were not even born in 1984. And until the Visio file formats that are, we actually supported the Office 2013 Visio file format before Office 2013 was actually released, because we got a hunt to the preview release and we supported the file format immediately. So in 2012 we did that with Corel file format, and again we are supporting now Corel 1 that even Corel Draw can't open anymore, because CorelDRAW opens only Corel 3. So we support 1 and 2 also, and until the version Corel X7, X4 that was released just at the end of March. And this all is in LibreOffice. And then for the Google Summer of Code 2012, we had talented students, and we wrote Microsoft Publisher Importer. All these things, they are file formats that were not documented. We reverse engineered them, and we supported them. And there are more things to come. I don't want to bore you with all these details, because it might be important for me, because it's like everybody is happy to show pictures of their own children to the others, because it's very important for them, but the others, they don't care so much about the children of the person. So there are more things coming. So, but as we were trying to do these things, we realized quite quickly that we were doing something bigger. And it was really a feeling that, like, we are opening file formats that nobody in free world could open unless they had the application, paid the license for it, but on Linux it was not running. And we started to feel like we are doing something good. And when we were going to conferences speaking about these importer libraries, what happened? That people were coming to speak to us on length, and they were really interested. And that's really something that shows you that you are doing something good, because many times, I don't know, when you give talks on conferences, you will realize that people, they look at you, they come to a conference, and that's it. But they were coming, they were asking, they were following us on different social media. So, and also we were approached by other projects. And since the beginning, we did this importer as standalone libraries, so that we were having some idea that maybe some other projects would like to use them. But we started to have projects like Inkscape reusing us. Calligra was reusing us. Scribus was reusing all the publisher work that we did. So we realized that this is something bigger. We were doing it mainly because we did these libraries as standalone because we wanted the other projects to be able to reuse it, thinking that if they reuse it, they will also help us to fix our bugs, because they will realize that they will have the bugs also. And also that LibreOffice itself is using many libraries that are free and open source. LibreOffice is free and open source, but we use also external libraries, and it was a way to give back something to the community. Now, about our philosophy. This is my just local plug. Who knows what is this painting called? Who knows it? You know? Okay, I will actually tell you. It's called Independencia Morte. Now, I have a quiz for you. Whose painting is Independencia Morte? Is it the painting of the oil paint producer? Or it is the painting of the canvas producers? Or it's a painting of Pedro Américo? It's very stupid questions, I know. And if you ask my wife, I have a lot of stupid questions, so it's nothing special. But this question doesn't look as stupid to software vendors. But our belief is that documents belong to their creators and not to the software vendors. But this is not clear to every software vendor. But it is our basic hypothesis. We come from there, and everything what we do, it comes from this belief. If you create a document, it's not the application that created it, it's you who created it, because the content is you who put in it. Because of this, we believe that access to content that you own should not be hindered by the fact that the application that created it is not maintained anymore, or that the application does not work on a particular operating system that you use. If some of you use Mac, and you will take some iWorks, or I don't know how it's called on Mac, the Keynote, for example, a Keynote document from 5 years ago, and you try to open it on the new Mac, you will receive a nice dialog. This file is too old. Open it first in some 2 versions backwards, and then you can import it too. So you have a content, you create it, you upgrade it, and suddenly you have the content, but it's not serving you anything because you can't access it. But as we believe that this is not normal. Software vendors, they believe that it's normal, as we don't believe that. As we believe that once you have a content, it's just normal to be able to access it. Also, we believe that this access can be achieved by truly open standards used for encoding of the documents. Standards that are documented, that are well maintained, and that have a diversity of implementation, so that if one implementation goes out of order or people stop developing it, you have a choice. This is the ideal world where we want to arrive. But we are on the way. And there is a long or shorter transitory period. This transitory period is now. And the life is such that there are still proprietary file format that many people use, and that's why we believe that implementation on free open source software that can read those proprietary file formats is the best solution to escape vendor lock during the transition period to truly open and free standards. So it means we are now in the transitory periods where you can create on, if you create some Adobe InDesign publication, you can't open it on Linux. You are locked on platform that Adobe InDesign can run. So we believe that if we try to make all our possible to be able to open those documents, we are helping our goal that all data is accessible by the creators. So this is our philosophy. Now, what is our mission? This is just an illustration. It's the same painting with a chain of distortion applied to it. So it can be undone, the distortions. And the picture can look the same that it was looking in the slide of philosophy. But you have to know what distortions I applied. And I can tell you something I don't even remember. So I would not be able to undo it. So this is the situation we have when we come to a proprietary file. We see something, but we absolutely don't know what it is. If I showed you this slide as a first, now because you know that this is a distorted Independencia Morte de Pedro Américo, now you know. But if I show you this in the beginning, you will not know what it is and you would not even have a clue. So this is how it is with the file format. So our mission is to try to understand the structure. Our mission is to try to understand how these files are encoded, and all the details of undocumented file formats. We try to extract the information that is useful for the creator and only the information that is useful. We don't want to redo an application that creates them, because that would be just stupid to create us creating proprietary file formats. We just want to be able to read them. And this, our goal is actually, as we are positioning ourselves in the transitory period, our mission is to use the understanding of the file formats to implement libraries that are under open source license, that are able to parse such documents and extract as much information as possible from them. Why open source? Because even if I go and a bus rolls over me, if you know how to read the code, you read the code and you will understand how the file format is constructed. That's why we want to achieve an implementation. We are not producing documentation, because documentation, we sometimes don't know why this offset is saying this or that offset is saying that. But we know that if we read this byte and we consider it as being line width, it works. But if we have to document something like this, it would be more messy than having a closed file format. It's better to make an implementation, and so that people could, they will not ask you why we did it, they will do what we did. Because sometimes the understanding of the file format, as you are implementing it, it comes and you realize, this thing was like this, when you understand more of it. So maybe it's a bit cryptic what I'm saying, but it's normal. I sometimes even don't know what I'm saying. So, and our goal is also to be a good member of the ODF ecosystem, and that's why our interchange format that we use for converting these documents is OpenDocument. The framework that we use is a framework that helps to generate OpenDocument. Now, if you were not bored enough, now it's coming. Now is the boring specifics. If you are the artistic person, you can just close your eyes and sleep until the end. So, to achieve these goals, we have some framework. We have introspection tools. When we read the file format, we try to chop it in pieces. We try to split. We try to decompress if we think that something is compressed there. And for that, we have something written in Python that is called OdtGenerator. We have quite tools in Python, but our libraries are not in Python. Our libraries are in C++, but we use Python for the quickness of it, that if you understand something, you can put it immediately in the Python tool, and you can look at the document and edit structure in some graphic user interface. And we use this thing, we call it OdtGenerator, because we are just crazy and we give names that it has some history, but I don't have whole day, so so this is something that can open the documents, but it will not show you what is the data in the document, but will show you the structure of the document, not magically, but every time when we understand something, we encode it there, and we know that if you find this code, this is the length of data that you will read there, and you jump there. We do not produce documentation, as I said, because we are software engineers, we are not writers. And normally we suck completely at writing prose. So, but if you know how to read Python, there is a lot of information in the comments and in how we read the document in this OdtGenerator tool. Then we have another tool that we call Kolupatra. You know, the guy is Russian, so don't ask me why it's called like this. It's called like this. So, and this one is basically a hexadecimal editor on steroids, because when you try to understand file formats, sometimes it's good if you don't have only 16 columns. If you ever use hexadecimal editor, you know how it looks. So you can wrap the lines. You can try to look whether there are patterns. And it can be also scriptable. You can say from this offset, chop it in pieces of 6 bytes. And you will see whether there is some regularity in that. Or it can be scripted also more complicated, but me, I'm just a simple guy, so I didn't understand. But my Russian friend, he is extremely good at this. So maybe one day he will come here. He's living in Toronto. It's a bit far, but it's okay. And we have a very, very cool feature. And that is the coolest thing after Churrasco. That's binary diff, because when you try to understand file formats, you have the application, you make a file, you modify a little thing, and now you have a huge hexadecimal code and you don't know where it changed. So for example, here we modified something between the version from 2016 and version 16 and version 17 of CorelDRAW. There are 2 years between them. And we were actually able to just, by the binary diff, to see what they changed in the file format. That one that is orangish, okay, it doesn't look very orange, but believe me that that's what we call orange in Europe. So this is orange. It shows where there is difference, and when it's green, it shows where there is something added. If it was subtracted, it would be green on the other side. So we actually understood that there was some data that changed. And with the green things, we understand that the change was in encoding of strings inside. Because on one side it's ASCII, on the other one is UTF-16. So we understood it immediately, and we were able, within 5 minutes, support the new file format, because this was the only change that they made. So now, I will speak a little bit about our software framework. Those are the real libraries that we use to do the conversion. We have a library, our main library, it's called librevenge. Revenge, yeah. Everybody thinks that it's to revenge against someone for something, but it's not, because actually we use it for reverse engineered file format. So we were finding it fun to call it librevenge, because our libraries are sweet, and it sounds nice when you say that librevenge is sweet. So this library contains APIs, application programming interfaces, and general use types. It's a library that doesn't do anything, but it's a library that produces, that has the document models. I will show you a little bit how it is for those that are not bored by this thing. I have still more technical details. But then we have something, a library that is called libodfgen. And this library is generating ODF. And I think I wrote something stupid there. I will have to change it. It's nothing with ebook file formats. I think I just pasted wrong thing from somewhere. This libodfgen is generating ODF. It takes the document models, and the document models are basically purely virtual interfaces where you communicate the information by calling callback functions, and this library takes them and processes the information into nice open document. Then we have the parser libraries. Those parser libraries, they are independent. They use the librevenge APIs, but they are loosely coupled, so you don't have to have all the parser libraries to be to be able to do a converter. You can have the framework, the OdtGen, and the library can use the framework and the OdtGen to do converters. So there are names of the libraries, like libwpd is a library for wordperfect documents, libwpg is for wordperfect graphics, libvisio is for Visio, libcdr is for CorelDRAW, libmspub is for Microsoft Publisher. We wanted to call it libpub, but there was already a libpub. And libetoniec, it's a very mysterious library, but those that know how to read from the other side, we will understand immediately what we support in that one. So these libraries, they parse file format, process the information, and call the callback of the document model. And then we have something that we call writerperfect, is a set of command line tools that where you can build, when you can do command line tools that use this framework to convert the documents. It's basically, they use librevenge, they use libodfgen, and there are some API calls in the libraries, but that's it. So you can have CDR to OdtG, and you can convert into OpenDocument graphics CorelDRAW files. Hey, so this is how, for example, text interface looks. There is a lot of callback functions, and the library has to call them. Doesn't have to call all of them. It's only libodfgen that has to implement all of them, and the libodfgen is us who do, so it's not a problem to implement. I will do something because I think I opened the wrong presentation. So just I will swap it very quickly. Don't worry, this is normal. I'm always doing something wrong. Okay. Now, a moment, because... Okay, yes, this one is nice. Okay. And slideshow from current slide. Yeah, because the drawing, I wrote the drawing interface, and just to imagine how the libraries, what the libraries use as document model, they call a callback that is called start document, and they pass through property list all the properties that the document on document level they are. Then callback end document is closing document at the end, and then there is start graphics because this is graphic file format, and we go like this. And these types are the types that the library implements itself. This is okay. Then the librevenge, we also have another part of the librevenge we call librevenge stream. This one produces a stream abstraction interface so that if, for example, your application has the document in memory or is able to read a document by other means than by file name, because in some operating systems, file name is not necessarily what you need to, you need maybe file descriptor, or you have already your application specific stream that exists. So this virtual is an interface that it's an interface that allows you to implement the functions of the interface and read it in uniform way, independent from your stream of your system layer. We have there also several implementations. RVNG, it's from the Revenge, file stream, RVNG string stream, directory stream, and we also can handle transparently OLE2 and zip documents. We have APIs for that, and we implement it. But for example, LibreOffice has completely different implementation, because LibreOffice, when it reads the document, it gives it another abstraction. So we have one class in LibreOffice that does translation between the two abstractions. So, and yeah. And then this library, librevenge, has also a generators. We can generate already in librevenge. We can generate without the libodfgen certain file formats. Certain file formats are simple to generate, like SVG or comma-separated value generator for spreadsheets, HTML, or just a plain text. If you have a text document, sometimes you don't need the formatting. Sometimes you want just the text. So you have a very useful tool in any text library that just reads the text without formatting codes, breaks paragraphs but doesn't format that. And we have SVG generators for presentations and for drawings. The SVG generator for drawings is a specificity. It's in the main librevenge because I used to use it over history for some reasons to create preview images for applications that don't understand OpenDocument format. So I didn't want to suck these librevenge generators into everything that I was producing, so I left the class there. So it's we are not perfect. And the libodfgen, it has 4 generator classes. Yeah, I forgot ODS generator class for spreadsheets. I told you I am doing quite a number of things that are not extremely right. So OdtGenerator is for it's for generating OpenDocument text files. OdtGenerator for graphics. ODP is for presentations, and then ODS that I forgot. It's for spreadsheets. And the ODF document handler interface is the part of libodfgen, because sometimes application doesn't want to receive a file from you. It wants to receive the XML in different form, in something that is called SAX, simple API for XML, where you just tell him open this tag, close this tag. So this is ODF document handler, very simple SAX like interface. And the writerperfect, the writerperfect, it's gluing it all together. It uses the stream implementations, it uses the different ODF generators and the parser libraries, and produces tools for the OpenDocument files. And we can produce flat ODF files. I spoke 2 days ago about flat ODF files, and if you look at speaker deck and you look Friedrich, my name, you will find all my slides. So if you you don't have to even photograph it and look at it, because it will be on web. I put everything on web under Creative Commons, non-commercial share alike. So, and we can also produce zipped ODF files. What is the advantage of this kind of design? The parser libraries, they are independent and self-contained. It's much, because our goal is to attract people, because us, we can't do everything ourselves. Us, we can't do everything ourselves, because we realized at a certain moment that God created a hardwired limit in us, and that one is that you can't produce more than 24 man-hours a day. So that's a problem. So we try to make it easy for the others so that we can scale in numbers and not in number of hours that we give to it. This framework makes it easier for the file format converter writers to focus on file format itself, and it just calls the callback interfaces, and all the generators are written once and can be reused instantly. So if you have a file format and you understood how text is encoded, not even formatting elements, you already can create an ODF file without formatting elements, but it's something that is valid ODF and it can be loaded already. And it also avoids sucking unrelated libraries in it, because librevenge itself and libodfgen have only one dependency, and that one is boost. If someone knows, if you don't know, it's not important. It's a build time dependency, and it's not a runtime dependency. You don't need to have it on the computer when you are running those things. And it's like you don't need to link text libraries in a driving application and this kind of things. It's making it modulable, so that the Inkscape is not interested in our WordPerfect import filter. They are interested in Visio, in CorelDRAW. And this also considerably reduces code duplication. Every functionality is written only in one place, and if there is a bug found, when one fixes it in one place, it's fixed indeed. And yeah, and it's also faster to start a library skeleton, because they are all looking like two eggs that have maybe different shells, but they are still eggs. I know that I am a very optimistic guy. So I know that after I spoke, you were looking at me, you are excited, and you want to be part of it. I cut the news to you. You absolutely can be part of it. We are not an exclusive body. This is not a Rotary Club. This is... So, what you can do, like many of you, you can do code development. You can contribute to one of our existing libraries, or you can start a new one. You have a file format that you used when you were young and handsome, and now when you are only ant, you want to read those documents. So you can start the library, and I promise you, if you start the library, you can come to our mailing list, and we are very friendly. We will pat your back. We will write in Facebook about what you are doing, how great you are. We will take your photo and we will put it on the Twitter, and everybody will know that you exist. Then you can also help us to understand and document this file format. If you are a guy or a girl that is a bit introvert, but you like to look during the long winter evenings into hexadecimal editor, this is a work for you. If you try to understand how things are done, you just do it. And if you are too introvert, we will not Facebook about you, we will not tweet about you. But if you are only a little bit introvert, we will still Facebook and tweet about you, and everybody will know you. So, or if you are to nothing of that, but you have an application that you would like free and open source software, you be able to open documents that it generates, you can be generating for us sample documents. What you need is to have the application, and you can generate little atomic documents, little documents with one feature, maybe with the same feature a little bit modified, and this can help us to understand the formats even if we don't own the applications. I have through my employer, I have through one foundation Microsoft Development Network subscription, so I can download any of Microsoft tools, but I can't download any of Adobe tools. So if you want something Adobe and you have the Adobe thing, you are welcome. You are part of it, and the thing of the Twitter and the Facebook, it's still applying to you. But it is not very difficult to create a new library. So I will give you a quick crash course about how to create new libraries for dummies. I know you are not dummies, but it was me who wrote it, and I am a dummy. So we created a project, we created a code that is called OdtGenerator. If you clone it from the URL, and then you go to OdtGenerator file, OdtGenerator directory that this clone generates, you can run OdtGenerator H, and it will give you all the information about how to use it. I can tell you it works perfectly for text document. It's a little bit broken for the others, so one needs manual intervention in those cases. But for text documents, it works perfectly, and I realized it was broken only like an hour before the conference, so I was not really able to fix it yet. But let's see. Sorry, I left one note for me what to do in case it doesn't work. So I wanted to show you how to use that thing. So I already did the OdtGenerator. So I will put this down so that I can type with two hands for 3 seconds. Okay, so I don't have to type it everything. So I create now very simple library for Fizzle 15 document importer file format. It's a file format that I invented, but it can exist because you never know. But proprietary file format in Fizzle, I don't think so much, but still. So Sorry, people. Genci, I mean. Okay, so this is the command. I created the thing. I go to the fizzle direct to the libfizzle directory, and I just can auto-generate and configure the library. And you will see that by magic this library is buildable. It doesn't do anything, but that's how code starts. Many times you have idea how to do it, but it's very difficult to create build system and documents and library structure. So this is how it works. I disabled warnings as error because there are many unimplemented things in it. And then I write make, and you will see some warnings, but it will create for you a library. So, and it creates a library that can be installed. And this is something that if you really want to contribute and you are having some little technical knowledge, this helps you to get a library and you can just code your things in it. So we try to lower the barrier of entry until like this little wall between me and here. So now, okay, let me. So it worked, and I put in the presentation the commands to use it. So what are the future file formats to import? If you are really interested, you can even earn money with it, because we regularly have Google Summer of Code students. Google Summer of Code this year already started, so for this year it can't work, but we are always happy to have talented people that want to work with us. What is the advantage? You will work with outstanding mentors, like me, like Valiok Filipov, that is the guy that is in Toronto, like David Tardon, that is a guy who writes the Keynote importers. And we have now already several file formats that are enough reverse engineered so that you can do the straight engineering on them. And this is Apple Numbers, Apple Pages, Adobe PageMaker, and Zoner Draw. If you don't know what is Zoner Draw, you are like me, but it's reverse engineered. So, and now your freedom is back, and you don't have to listen to this boring funny gringo. So if you have some questions, you can always ask. Maybe I will even know how to answer. And if not, you can always follow us on Twitter. We put jokes and tweeting about people who work with us, and sometimes even technical details for those who like the second part of my presentation. So, and you can go to documentliberation.org. That's the page of the project, and all the things that could interest you if you want to contribute are there.
Hi.
Hey, Gustavo.
Thank you for your presentation, and a little question. Okay. What is the most complex or stupid file format that you have worked in the project?
The most complex or the most stupid? Because
both, yeah. Please.
Okay, the most stupid file format is ALSYS Macromedia Adobe Freehand. It's a file format where you can't parse the document unless you can parse all parts of the document, because the document is never putting anything about length of chunks. So you have to know exactly how what is in the chunk and how big it should be. So even now we have a library that is reading it, but we still know that we might find a document that has a chunk that we never saw. So this one is the most stupid. Most complex, the Adobe InDesign file format looks as a complex one, because Adobe InDesign file format looks like a database of elements with some structure on the top of it that shows how the elements are in the file, and we have to start actually implementing it so that we know what we still don't understand, because we saw the structure. We actually sometimes we don't use only reverse engineering. We do like the Nigerian guys. We do also some social engineering. So if you know someone who is working for Adobe, and you have some little reais to pay him some beers, you can actually get some information for us about this file format from him. Because that one we were not able to do differently by phishing and social engineering. But with the social engineering, we understood something, and now it makes sense, and we can try to implement it. So in complication is that one. But it's not really stupid file format, because the idea that there is a database of publication elements somewhere, it might be quite smart idea. For the while, we don't understand what it brings, but it might be smart idea. So that's it.
I have another question.
Okay.
What do you think about PDF-A for long-term archiving?
Yeah, for archiving it's fine, but it means that if your content, you only want to look at it, it's one thing. But if you want to reuse it and start to develop on the content, PDF is not so much of it is editable. It's even documented. So because it's documented, I'm not really interested about it. Any scripty kit can work with things that are documented. So, but we are the real men, and we are working on things that are not documented and nobody understands. Okay, that was my selfie plug into it. But I don't know why we want to use file formats that are verbose enough so that you can encode all traditional types of documents that exist there into it. Like, we have a lot of people who are interested in importing CAD, computer-assisted design and design applications. But for the while, we don't have any file format that would do 3D, apart Blender things or something. But so we don't know how to abstract that file model. So we don't do anything about that. Because if we don't know where to push it, we don't know how to... What happened? Okay. It comes. So, yeah. We have limitations. We are human beings. So, since there are no questions, I hope you don't regret it until the end of your life that you came to this presentation, and I thank you for being patient with my mumbling here, and enjoy Fizzle. Até logo.